Hey, Altcoin Buzz Army. This is Adam with Altcoin Buzz. I just want to take a moment to say rest in peace to my 9-year-old Turtle Beach headphone sets. All right, I got a new mic, so if you've listened to my previous videos, I probably sound a lot better. I don't know if you care. I care. I'm pretty excited. It's a blue Yeti, which is deceiving because it's not blue. It's silver, but we are going to use it to review blue, which is what we're going to kick into now. So this is an updated review. Blue has launched their new website. They've launched a new white paper, and they've have a new roadmap and made their team public. All pretty exciting things. All right, so the first thing we'll review is their team. So I'm not going to go through all of it, just kind of doing a brief highlight. But more or less, if you go through and read these, they have legitimate resumes. They have a lot of people with a lot of real world experience, and so as far as team wise, that gives me a lot of confidence in what they're doing. Right. So what I'm going to do with this, we're going to kind of go over the white paper, right? But if you're looking up here, I created a bunch of graphics. So what I've tried to do is dummy down a lot of the words to make it so explain this in a way where, as an investor or as an enthusiast, you can understand what they're doing and know how it may impact you. I probably won't do it as in-depth with this with every cryptocurrency. This one is a bit unique, and their paper is pretty awesome, and the things that they're trying to do. So I'm more or less trying to create this format, but if you like it or don't like it, let me know. I've pretty much just made this up as I was reviewing this. So let's kick it off. So the blue mission. So the mission is to make crypto safer, easier to use and understand, and easier to develop for. So they want, easier to use and understand, right? Convenience, right? That's what I'm all about, is the convenience. And easy to develop for. That's for people that are trying to write code or develop their own cryptocurrencies. They want it simpler. The vision. By making crypto easier and safer to work with, we aim to bring cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to the mainstream audience, enabling every person in the world to participate in the decentralized revolution. So they're trying to make safe, mass adoption, and convenience, right? As a broad perspective, these are all great things. Kicking it off here, this is basically going to be the breakdown of the white paper. We're going to start off with some of the issues, right? So any cryptocurrency that you want to look at, you want to know what problems they're trying to solve, and they lay out very specifics. So what they did, they've been analyzing vulnerabilities and security problems, and I've highlighted those here. So the blue analysis tool, pretty much everything they have has blue in front of it, just as an FYI. But this is an automated tool that they created, and they had it review 1 million smart contracts. If you're not familiar with smart contracts, that's okay. Smart contracts, they're code inside of the cryptocurrencies. All right, so there could be many smart contracts under a cryptocurrency. Just know that that's just a crucial aspect. But more or less, the automated tool found 34,200 security vulnerabilities just in those million smart contracts that they scanned alone. Then their team manually went in and analyzed their own, so they actually went in and dissected all these smart contracts. The team analyzed 3,759 of them, and they found 3,686 vulnerabilities. And those are exploitable vulnerabilities that they were well aware that they can go in and basically just take advantage of, right? Whether that be losing funds or losing, keys, they're endless possibilities, but they're all issues. Right, 98% of the ones, that's insane. That's a really bad thing, if that's not obvious. Money-wise, 1.36 billion worth of crypto were lost in the first 2 months of this year alone. So it's January, February, $1.36 billion worth of crypto were lost. All these statistics, they had links for in their white paper if you're really interested. So I don't know how much of this was scam or how much of this was user error. I didn't break that down. But that's a lot of crypto loss, right? And they do address both those as far as scams and user error goes and as we go forward. 22 separate cases of lost money that were $400,000 or more in just the first 3 months, right? So we're talking January, February, March. 22 cases, $400,000 or more on each case. That's a lot of lost money. That is crazy to me. Estimates have found that about 81% of ICOs have been scammed. So they're going through, again, they put a reference in there, but they've estimated that 81% of those ICOs, so those that you see that are coming out, that are scams. Of course, as you're seeing a lot of them, that's why I believe they banned a lot of these on social media sites because look at this. I mean, the majority of them, they're just mass producing them, and you were seeing them, you're still seeing them, and they just seem sketch, right? And puts a bad name in crypto, but they're well aware of this and they want to solve this problem. So the issues with the ICO. So they broke it down into 3 big categories with issues. Token economics as a distraction. Both the team and the investor become too focused on prices and exchanges. They give more detail about this, but more or less they are seeing that even as a team that's creating a cryptocurrency, they become so excited about the economics, the money that's coming in, the exchanges they're going to get on. They're so focused on that it kind of just distracts from actually building something. It distracts from the project, right? So that's a problem with an ICO because you get, if just saying you have a developer coming from humble beginnings that suddenly has millions and millions of dollars or has the potential to, right? It just can be overwhelming. And you see it in professional sports when these guys get all this money and they act foolish all of a sudden because they just go from, humble beginnings to, rich, and, it can be extremely distracting. Lack of utility. Not everything has use on the blockchain. So this is a huge factor when we're looking over any cryptocurrencies, is that does it even need to be on a blockchain? Does it even need to be a cryptocurrency? There are a lot of them out there that, they're spinning it, right? They pretty much take everything in the industry and spin it to become an ICO and put it on the blockchain. But not everything needs to be on the blockchain. But this is something that needs to be looked at. And deliberate fraud, which is obvious, right? We just talked about how 81% of ICOs are scams in general, or so that they found. The Blue Protocol. So this is just a summary of it in a nutshell. All right, this is what they've created, and this is how it's going to impact you specifically. Right, improve security. So the secure Ethernet wallets, we're going to have smart contracts. So these smart contracts, I know we keep going back to those. They are, it's what is going to allow certain agreements and trust. And by having those implemented in Ether wallets, by putting the Blue Protocol in it, it's going to dramatically improve security. User experience. So with the user experience, they want to be able to have you get their wallet, and you're going to be able to email, if you transfer money, that can go via email. And then somebody who's not even on or involved in cryptocurrency can see that email, accept that transaction, and then just go on to create, automatically prompt them basically to create the wallet, and they can receive it immediately. So more or less makes it convenient. Spending limits. So you see these with credit cards, right? The user can adjust, you can adjust how much limit you have. So this can be a huge part of fraud. So if you're saying, I'm only, do not allow more than half an Ether a day. So that way, if somebody were to get a hold of your account, they wouldn't even be able to withdraw more than a half of an Ether, as an example. So that's a huge factor. Identity. So part of the smart contracts also, you're going to be able to prove your identity to whoever you want, and also be able to ask people to prove their identity. So that's going to be another huge factor, especially as you're dealing with a lot of people from around the world. And in ICOs. Inheritance. So this is a cool one. Inheritance and recovery. These kind of go together. So you can add trusted parties, right? So you can, by getting someone's identity. So say you have a son or a grandson that you want to have inherit your cryptocurrency, right? So what this does is you can set time limits. So say, we'll just give an example of your bank account, right? So if you don't log into your bank account every 6 months, at least once, it can prompt the smart contract, the code, to automatically do something, right? So as inheritance wise, if you don't check it every 6 months, right, then your son automatically gets access to your wallet, right? So if you were to pass away, then now somebody's going to have access to it, and that's how you can build inheritance. Recovery wise, if you don't have an activity, it can prompt you. So it can, via email, it'll prompt you to say, all right, you can do a recovery, like doing a patch recovery, right? But you can recover your funds by setting this time limit, right? So also huge benefit, because if you lose your key, then now it can automatically prompt you to say, hey, you haven't logged in a while. You've set this as a basically as a warning, so you can go in, recover, get a different key, and still have access to your funds. And then merchants can enable spending limits, refunds, and include different types of digital assets. So as if you're making a cryptocurrency, right, you can also enable spending limits. You can offer refunds, and can be embedded in the code, so it's automatic. So if something happens, like they don't meet something with the roadmap, or they have certain issues in place, then you can automatically get your refund, and that's all set in stone, right? They can't change that. Huge factors. Blue SDK. So SDK is software development kit, right? So this is for developers, right? I'm going to do just a quick brief summary. I'm sure most of you aren't developers, but what they can do is that for wallets, exchanges, and e-commerce, right, that the developers can have this kit, more or less, just think of it like a toolbox, to automatically put the Blue protocol in whatever they want. So everything that we are talking about, so say like the spending limits, right, or your identity can easily be put on exchanges. It can easily be put on wallets. For your inheritance recovery, you could immediately have wallets that allow that really quickly. I hope that makes sense. Off-chain scanning. So this is for us. This is for people that are being users. Consumers can request scans, right? And they have 3 types of scans that they've listed. Integration testing. So what this does is, if you're wanting to get involved in an ICO, you can utilize these scans to say, all right, you deploy it on a local blockchain to basically test its legitimacy. And I hope that makes sense. Static analysis scans for patterns that indicate vulnerabilities. So you can just scan it and just find any of the vulnerabilities that they've been talking about. And we'll go over more of those vulnerabilities here in a little bit. But and blacklisting and whitelisting. So there are a lot of addresses that they want to put on a database that they can blacklist. So a lot of scammers, right, they're automatically going to be put on this list. And so every time you go to say you want to invest in an ICO, you can run all these scans to make sure that none of these are blacklisted, that there aren't vulnerabilities, and that it's legit on a blockchain. Almost think of it like an antivirus for cryptocurrencies. Maybe a good way to look at it. Blue token utility. So if you're investing in Blue, right, what is the purpose of the token, right? Because obviously a lot of people want to just sell it to make money, but what is the Blue token actually going to do? So direct quote, by holding a variable amount of Blue dedicated or decided by the platform in real time, any Ethereum wallet is given full free access to the Blue protocol features. What does that mean? So Blue decided by the platform. So whatever platform you're holding your Blue, right? But maybe we'll just use an example like Binance. By having a certain amount that platform sets, you'll have the Blue protocol features already enabled. So I don't know if the exchanges will actually use it in that sense, but that's what you would do with the tokens themselves, and that is the benefits you get. So they go on for the token utility, right? So this is pretty much how you pay for the service. This is how they get funded. So that is their purpose for the token. This is also going to empower their blacklisting and whitelisting that we were just talking about right here. Right? That if you want to have it scanned against the database, right, by having Blue tokens on there, you basically can identify a lot easier. And just like that, make it easier to identify scams, bots, and attackers. So a lot of value in holding the token. But they do go on to say, at any time you can still trade it or sell it, just like all the other tokens and cryptocurrencies out there. A Blue membership. So this is also pretty crucial. So for exchanges, I'm just going to use exchanges as an example, they can have a membership with Blue. So the reason they would do this is because if the exchanges want to use Blue tokens, for example, buying millions and millions of these would destabilize the market. It would destabilize the value of the token, more specifically. So they can actually pay for memberships to utilize all of the Blue protocol. And going on right here, wallet providers, exchanges, block explorers, and price charts. So I don't know, when it comes to block explorers or price charts, I don't know if that means like CoinMarketCap would be able to also utilize these protocols to identify, bullcrap coins, more or less. And then user memberships. So you and I can also pay for the services if we want, for a set non-refundable and non-transferable fee. But they do go on to say that the tokens serve us better, because we can just hold a certain amount and we can still do stuff with it, as opposed to just paying a set price and being done. Right? So if we were ever not needing blue anymore. Say we just sell out of crypto. We don't have this wasted fee. We can just sell the tokens. So good for us. The blue wallet. So over here, I have downloaded it. So pretty straightforward. All right, right now, only available as a Chrome extension. If you scroll down, right, and they just have pretty much a crap ton, and I'm pretty sure all these are ERC20 cryptocurrencies, and they're all on the Ethereum network, more or less. So, and they do say, yeah, say, look at all these, it's crazy. But they do go on, plans for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux are all in the works right now. Decentralized two-factor authentication. So if you're familiar with two-factor authentication, well, you know what, if you're not, let's look at this. So this is from a cell phone, more or less. This is what it looks like. So right here where they have it blurred out is what website they have, and you get this number, right? So if you haven't been using this, you want to, because what it does, say you log into an exchange, and then this is on your cell phone, and you have to enter in this code on the website that is only available on your cell phone. So it creates a huge security advantage. But the problem they have, so this is a centralized method. So if the exchange is hacked or the database gets exposed, those secret keys can be accessed, and they can still access your funds. So what they have a decentralized solution, and I guess they have modified it and designed it themselves. And basically they have a two-factor authentication on the Ethereum blockchain, and they also offer support for that. And they said that third parties can integrate it into their own. So exchanges, for example. So now exchanges, instead of using the Google Authenticator method, can use the Blue method and have that two-factor authentication that is decentralized. That way you can't just access it if the exchange is attacked or compromised. And you're going to also offer authorization codes. You're going to be able to get an app, I'm assuming similar to the Google one, where you can have those same codes that you're typing in. The blockchain analysis. All right, so what this does is these are testing for how these cryptocurrencies are going to work. So they have fuzz testing. This helps detect locking of transfers, freezing of assets, transferring funds without owner approval, destruction of funds, infinite minting, and more. So what this does is it looks at the cryptocurrency and it automatically says, all right, if you're investing in an ICO, they can, freeze assets. They can move your funds around. They have control, destruction funds, infinite minting. They just keep making more and more. This testing tests all that. It looks through it and says, hey, this ICO, has the ability to infinitely mint. That is what their code states. So it creates a warning sign. And it says, hey, no, this is bad. And they even go on to talk about like a rating system that they're going to come up with as they go through and now analyze these. Market manipulation detection. So we all see this and we all talk about it, but we see the volume going crazy, the pump and dumps, all that. So they're going to have warning signs that say this is being manipulated, and then issue warnings for us saying, hey, this cryptocurrency is seeing pump and dump behavior, be wary. And they're going to go through and, keep scanning and trying to figure out where the source is coming from. Token distribution analysis. So what this does is it looks at the top 10 wallets in that specific crypto and it basically kind of monitors what they're doing. So it can determine true circulating supply, detect trades between top wallets, detect frozen wallets, and make sure that they're going to have a healthy token distribution system. So as these ICOs promise to do token distribution, they basically have a way to rate it. So yeah, so that was the end. That was basically the technical white paper in a nutshell. If you want to go through and look at it, there's a lot more. But what does the roadmap look like? Starting out with 2008, support AltCoin market cap. Oh, nice. Support dApps with deep integration. We didn't go too much into that, but they had basically their protocol. They have stuff that's going to be on decentralized applications. So like, those crypto kitties, for example, like they'd be able to have this on there. I think security and testing, blue standard. So by the end of this quarter, You want to have the Blue standard version 1 finalized. Blue wallet is updated with modular contract scanning capabilities. So by Q3, they want those wallets to be able to scan. So by Q3 also, integration with exchanges and wallet makers begin. So they want to, in Q3, they want to start having this blue protocol, everything that just went over on the exchanges. So pretty soon. And the Blue Protocol SDK, that's the software development kit. So this is for the developers. So by the end of the year, they want the developers to be able to implement Blue in everything that they're doing. And again, specifically on the Ethereum network. What is the market cap looking like? Let's do a little refresh here. So it's sitting at about 25 cents. The market recently has been going pretty crazy. This hasn't seen really any effects. That may be partly because of the exchanges that they're on. Their highest volume right now is on IDEX. I don't personally use IDEX, but I think that's probably one of their big limiting factors right now, which is maybe a little surprising to me that they still haven't really seen any changes, given that the market has been going pretty crazy and that they've just launched all this. And that's about it in a nutshell. If you have questions about it, feel free to comment below. It looks pretty legitimate. Some issues that I have that as I'm like going through these and I have questions. Number one is that it's only on the Ethereum network, and I don't know if they have plans to branch out because as everyone knows, Ethereum is basically the top when it comes to decentralized application platforms for a lot of these cryptocurrencies. There's numerous ones. The majority are built on Ethereum. But Neo, Quantum, Lisk, Cardano, EOS, Komodo, like all these are coming out now. So I wonder about the future with Blue, is kind of dependent in certain aspects on Ethereum. And so I don't know if that may be a limiting factor for them or if they have plans to. I don't know. That's just a question that I would arise. And I also wonder, so like with those CryptoKitties, right? So it bogged down the network, right? It got really slow by implementing all of these protocols. Is that further going to slow things down, right? Because you're going to start doing all these scans and start having all these extra code in there. I don't really know. I am not a developer, right? This is just my mindset. These are the questions that come around for me. So that's it in a nutshell for the Blue. Again, if you like this format, go ahead and give me a like. Let me know that you liked it. Not all of these cryptos are going to be this detailed, but I wanted to kind of try to dummy down as much of the technical stuff as I could. See, as you can learn from it and see how it's going to impact you. But the way I look at it is like this is going to be holding people accountable. They basically want to regulate and kind of govern cryptocurrency like ourselves. And they say that in their white paper where they think that it's important for cryptocurrency to self-regulate, not have the government intervene. He thinks that's going to be huge for mass adoption, and I do agree. But if you're on Twitter, go ahead and give Altcoin Buzz a follow. They're constantly posting tweets. And if you're on YouTube, obviously you're on YouTube, you're watching this video. But if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell, and make sure you hit that like if you like the video. And thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.